Hi guys, welcome back to Politics, and today we're going to look at the trends from 2012 to 2016. Now, I've already done a video showing how that would affect the electoral map if the same thing was to happen, but today we're just going to look at how the states are trending in a raw fashion. So a state that's just trended blue in that 4-year period, I'll give to the Democrats, and a state that's just trended red, I'll give to the Republicans, and we'll see how it turns out and which parts of the country are trending to which party based on the difference in the results. So we're going to go in alphabetical order, and we will start with Alabama, therefore, which trended to the Republicans by about 6 points. So we'll put that in the likely column. Alaska was by 1 point, so we will do tilt. Arizona was actually trended to the Democrats by about 5.5, so that can go in the likely. Arkansas to the Republicans by 3. California was to the Democrats by about 7. That became about a 30-point win. The Colorado trended to the Republicans by just under 1%, very close. Connecticut trended to the Republicans by about 4. Delaware by about 6, actually, which is quite interesting. DC trended to the Democrats by about 3, as if it could trend anymore. Florida to the Republicans by about 2. Georgia to the Democrats by about 3. So you can see the kind of South kind of seeing a more democratic trend already. Hawaii to the Republicans by about 11, so that can go in the safe column. Idaho by under 1% to the Republicans. Illinois went by just under 1 for the Democrats. Indiana to the Republicans by about 8. Iowa to the Republicans by a huge 15. Kansas to the Democrats by about 1%. So that can go in the tilt column. Kentucky went to the Republicans by about 7. So that can go likely. Louisiana by about 3. Maine at large went to them by trended to them by around 13. So that does not include the 2 districts. Maine's first district by about 7. So that can go likely. And then Maine's second by a huge 19. So that's definitely safe. Maryland went to the trended to the Democrats by about 1%. So that would be tilt. Massachusetts by just over 5. Likely. Michigan to the Republicans by just under 10, about 9%. Minnesota to the Republicans by about 6, so likely again. Mississippi to the Republicans by about 5, by just over 5. Missouri to the Republicans by about 10. Montana to the Republicans by about 7%. Nebraska as a whole went to them trended to them by about 2. So that includes the first and the third district, and then the second district actually trended to the Democrats by over 5, which is quite interesting. We'll see how that pans out in 2020. And then Nevada trended to the Republicans by just under 5. New Hampshire by just over 5. New Jersey by about 4. It's very, very heavily Republican, this map so far. New Mexico by about 2. So that can go in the lean column. New York by just over 5. which is pretty interesting. North Carolina by about 1%. North Dakota by over 15. Ohio by around 11. So safe again, similar to Iowa, which you'd kind of expect. Oklahoma by about 4. Oregon trended to the Republicans by about 1%. Still an 11-point win for the Democrats. Pennsylvania went by about 6. Rhode Island, pretty large swing here actually, 11 points in favour of the Republicans. That actually goes in the safe column. South Carolina went by about increased by about 4%. So that will go in the lean column. South Dakota by about 12, similar to North Dakota, very strong. Tennessee by about 6, so just about likely. Texas actually trended to the Democrats by 7, so that can go in the likely column. Utah trended to the Democrats by about 8 if you include McMullen's vote in Trump's, because McMullen's vote was quite large, and obviously most of his voters would lean to Trump. But that still trended Democrat by about 8, even when you factor that in. Vermont by over 10, actually, to the Republicans. So that would actually go safe. Virginia to the Democrats by about 1. So that would go tilt. Washington, similar story, about 1% to the Democrats. West Virginia went by about 15 to the Republicans. Huge change there. Wisconsin by just over 7%. So that would go likely, like the rest of the Rust Belt. And then finally, Wyoming improved for the Republicans by about 4. So, I mean, it's a pretty scattered map if you look kind of over the very south. I mean, the north is incredibly strong for the Republicans, the trends. I wouldn't expect it to keep up going into 2020. Nothing like that strong. I think Trump is very maxed out in a lot of these places. But regarding the south, I can see these trends keeping up, especially Texas, Georgia, Arizona. I think I don't believe Texas and Georgia will be very close in 2020. But going into 2024, 2028, I can see them both being pretty much in the toss-up range. Arizona, however, I have actually predicted Biden to win this, only by a very slim margin. But as you can see, the trend there is pretty large, and it only looks like it's gonna go even further than that, and possibly go into the Democrat column. So yeah, I mean, obviously you have to factor in that Clinton was really a very poor candidate for the Democrats, which may have skewed these trends by a lot more than they actually would under different circumstances, especially the Rust Belt going by all of them over 5 points to Trump in terms of trends, and the Northeast being pretty heavy as well, which is quite surprising, with the exception of Massachusetts and Maryland. But yeah, the South, even with Clinton as a candidate, you can see even the kind of Bible Belt states here, Mississippi, Alabama, they didn't trend as much as the northern ones, which I found pretty interesting. So you can see the Democrats, possibly this is their future, focusing a lot more on the South as opposed to the North. I mean, I believe that Biden should focus on the Rust Belt still, because I do believe that he can win it. I mean, all he needs is that to win the election. And I do believe that he can win those states if he puts enough kind of effort into them. I don't think he should push for Texas or Georgia as being a priority this time round, because I don't think they're quite ready yet. Arizona, on the other hand, I do. and I do think he should focus on that. So yeah, pretty interesting set of results. As you can see, the South, and broadly speaking, the South is a lot more open to trending to the Democrats, it looks like, than the more northern part of the country. But we'll see how it turns out in 2020, and possibly compare those trends to these and see whether they've continued or not. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and let me know what you think in the comments.